Hi teacher, good evening, my name is Jean Ramirez, I hope you're doing very well. The topic of this video is about the first class. The topic of the first class is about the future tense with be going to. It's for first baccalaureate, the duration of the class is about 45 minutes and the level is elementary. The objectives for this class are that learners will be able to understand sentences or phrases in future tense. Learners will be able to express facts in this future tense, and also that learners will be able to recognize questions in future tense, questions and statements in future tense. Also, and besides, learners will be able to create their own statements or sentences in this simple future tense. The methodology and strategies, the methods, I will use the grammar translation and the Duolingo method. And for strategies, I will use the vocabulary roleplay and per word for the strategies. First of all, as an anticipatory set, I will start the class by talking about different kinds of sports and introduce some examples of vocabulary of most common and known sports. Then I will ask learners to tell me or what their favorite sports are and why. I will also say my favorite sport and why, and I will show them some pictures about different kinds of sports. For the main teaching input, first of all, I will introduce some examples of the future tense, of the grammar structure. And also I will introduce a few time words like tomorrow, tonight, next Monday, this afternoon, and so on. So students will be given examples and future time words of the future be going to, examples of future be going to. They will be asked to do examples of affirmative, negative, or questions according to what I say. After the explanation, the students will be asked to write, in this case, to write their own examples. Before, I will guide them, but in this case, they will write their examples alone, according to what I say. For example, I can say, Daniela, please write an example of an affirmative sentence, or Carlos, write an example of a negative sentence, and so on. And once the students have finished doing their examples, I will ask them to read their examples or sentences aloud. And once they have finished the activity, I will show them a chart. I will show them a grammar chart of future with be going to. Next, using a TV, I will first show students a short conversation, and they will be asked to listen and read silently. Then, with my help and guidance, I will have them to read the conversation aloud, always giving emphasis on the highlight structure or sentences. Once they have finished, they will shift roles. After using the vocabulary about sports, a learner will have to create and perform a short conversation, also applying the future tense or the grammar structures. I will give them some ideas to facilitate their job. I will give them some ideas on some examples to make their job easier. For instance, I can help them starting a conversation like, hello, how are you? And then a question using the grammar structure. For example, are you going to go to the football game? Okay? And then students will have to continue the same conversation. Once students are ready, they will have to perform their short dialogue or conversation in front of the class. As a guide practice, students will have to imagine they will travel to a place. Each person has to say one thing that she or he is going to take in that trip. Then the next person says what the first speaker is going to take and adds what he or she is going to take. For example, I say, I'm going to take a tent, okay? Then the next student repeat what I said, so the next student will say, he is going to take a tent, and then the student says his example or her example. So, in short words, a student will say, he's going to take liars and I'm going to take a 10. For example, okay? The other student will do exactly the same. First, the third student will repeat what I said, will also repeat what the other student said, and will say what he or she is going to take to that trip. That will be the guide practice. And as an independent practice individually, learners will have to write on the board some future sentences, either negative, affirmative, or questions, according to what I say. For example, I can say, Daniela, please make an example of future sentence, or make an example of a question, okay? Always in future. And they will have to do it individually, without help this time. And then, as an assessment, individually, learners will listen the sentence that I pronounce and will have to identify and choose if the sentence is a question, affirmative, or negative. And then they will be asked to say statements in affirmative, negative, or question according to what I say. Again, for example, I will ask the students, okay, you, please say me, in this case speaking, say me an example of affirmative. Or you, please stand up and say me an example of question. Okay? Will be like that. And also, I will ask them, first, you stand up, I will say a sentence, I will say an affirmative or negative, and they will have to identify. For example, Daniela, I'm gonna travel to Quito, and Daniela will say, it's affirmative. Andrea, I'm not gonna travel to Quito, and Andrea will have to say, that's negative. The activity will be like that. And so, finally, to finish the class, I will ask a student to solve a non-like quiz. Okay, a non-like quiz. So I will give them students a link so that they will have to go to that link and solve that online quiz. For the closing review and follow-up, and I will reinforce the class, I will give a feedback, the student will be given a feedback. Shortly, I will write a sentence, but using the 3 different forms, in order for students to be able to discriminate the 3 forms of negative, affirmative, and question. For example, I can write, I'm going to travel to Quito, I'm not going to travel to Quito, and the question, am I going to travel to Quito? In order for students to be able to understand the 3 different ways, negative, question, and affirmative. And so, in order to reinforce the class again, I will show them a video about future we're going to, and I will have them to read some phrases or some sentences in that video to practice more, in order to practice more. So for the materials, the materials used in this class were pictures about different types of sports, about different types like football, soccer, tennis, golf, baseball, and so on. Also, the grammar chart of Be Going To, where they'll be explained the grammar structure with I'm going, I'm not going, he's going, she's not going, she's going to read, she's not going to read, he's going to go, he's not going to go, and so on. So I will have students to practice these structures. Also, as I told you before, I will use the online quiz. I can have students to go to the link, or also I can show them the quiz on the TV using the laptop and using the TV, and individually I can ask them questions. I can ask them questions about that quiz. Okay? Or they can solve the complete quiz using the link. Also, as I mentioned, I will use a computer and a laptop to show them the videos, the pictures, and also to show them the dialogue conversation. I will also use a board and markers for evaluating students, to assess them. Also, I will use a short audio about the conversation that's included it's including the supplementary materials. I will use all those kind of materials in order for students to have a meaningful class. So dear teacher, that was all for today. Thank you so much. I hope you like and enjoy it, and see you on the next video. Goodbye.